22nd of October, Rabbi. More Parsha Hashauva with Rashi, Lecha.
Hey,
Hello, Rabbi. How are you?
Hashem. Okay, let's go.
Vayomer Hashem el Avram Lech Lecha me Artzecha umi mo ladetecha umi beis avicha el haaretz asher arecha.
Eka.
Arecha. Shem said to Avram, go for you from your land, from your birthplace, and from the house of your father to the land that I will show you. Rashi says, go for yourself, leha naascha, for your pleasure.
For benefit, I would say better. Not for your pleasure.
Well, the next word it says is benefit. Ula tovascha. So what's the difference between ha naascha and tovascha?
It's a good point. I don't know. Why the double expression?
Well, tovascha, that contains the word tov.
Right.
So that would seem to imply benefit. And the word hanascha contains hana, which is pleasure, right?
So again, just let me see how I translated it myself. Just 1 second. Actually, I don't have it here. Let me see over here. So I have it quoted over here from the Maskil David. It was a commentary on Rashi that the two aspects are for your benefit is that you will have children, and for your good is to make you famous, that people will hear about your what you are preaching about.
Which one is hana?
Toiv is, if you're good, means that you're going to have children. And Hanoscha,
Hashauva.
sorry, the other way around. La'anoscha means that you're going to have children, and letovoscha means that for your good means that people will hear about you. You'll become famous, and therefore you'll be able to spread the word of Hashem. It's not necessarily something which Avraham Avinu is getting hana from, personal hana, but it's certainly for your good because you will be able to spread the word of Hashem.
Right. So, at any rate, the next word is in Rashi is sham, there. Escha legoy gadol. I will make you a great nation. The kan I ata zocher levanim. Let's see. Whereas here you do not merit children.
Have children.
Va'od, and furthermore, she'odia tiv acha ba'olam. I will make your name known to the world.
Right. Well, your character, tivacha, really means your nature.
I will
Your
make
character.
nature known. Nature.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. One thing I want to point out over here is an interesting point. Okay, maybe we'll wait till Pasuk Hay to discuss this point. Okay?
Okay.
But he didn't tell him, he says him, Ela Oretz Asher Hareko. Rashi's going to dwell on this. Okay? I know Rashi doesn't say anything. Rashi doesn't say, but Kosh Baruch Hu did not tell him where to go. Ela Oretz Asher Hareko, to the land which I will show you. You set out, and afterwards, later, I'm going to tell you where to go.
Right.
Similar to what we find at the end of Parshas Vayera by the Akedah, it says there, it's on one of the mountains, which I will instruct you about.
Right.
And there Rashi gives an example here as well, is that initially Kosh Baruch Hu didn't tell him where to go.
Right.
Okay? Okay, let's see weiter, Pasuk base.
Ve'escha legoy gadol va'rechecha va'agadla shemecha. Okay, that's it. And I will make you.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite finish the Pasuk. V'hayei bracha.
Oh, v'hayei bracha. Okay. I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you, and I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing.
Now, it's interesting, you translate you will. It's an imperative form. First part of this, I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you, and I will make your name great. V'hayei bracha, and be a blessing. It's an imperative form they use.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
And I will make you a great nation. Lefi she ha derech. Because the journey go remes lish losha divarim. It causes three things.
This is traveling in general.
Right. Me ma'et ma'met me ma'etes pirya berivya. It diminishes reproduction. Mi ma'etes es hamamon. It diminishes money.
Okay, so well, the first thing is, why does it remind us priorivia? Because first of all, traveling is tiring, so it weakens a person physically. That's pashtus, what it means. That's why it minimizes the person's, in other words, it's to minimize the person's virility. Okay.
My commentary says it is improper for a husband and wife to engage in marital relations when they are guests in another's home.
I mean, so they're on the road, so they're not in their own home.
Right.
That's assuming that when they're on the way, they're staying with other people.
Right.
It's not necessarily if they go to a motel or, you know what I'm saying, just saying, an inn. They got their private room.
Right.
Okay.
Let's see. And it diminishes the name.
Right. Person's name.
Lechach, therefore, huzkak l'shalosh brachos halalu. He needed three blessings.
Yes.
These three blessings. Shehiv ticho, which Hashem promised him. Al habanim, regarding children. Ba'al hamamon, regarding money. Ba'al Hashem, and regarding his name. And now I have in brackets, V'zehu va'agadla shemecha. And this is the meaning of, and I will make your name great. Hareni mosif os al shemecha. Behold, I will add a letter to your name. She'ad achshav. That up until now, Shimcha Avram. Your name has been Avram. Mikan ve'elach. From now and continuing, Avraham. It will be Avraham, or it is Avraham.
It will be. Well, we'll see. Yeah.
V'Avraham oleh ma Masayim Arbaim Ushmoneh. And Avraham adds up to 248. Keneged Evarav Shel Adam, corresponding to the number of organs in a man's body. Va'avarechka, I will bless you, b'mamon, with money. V'hinei bracha, and be a blessing. Habirachos nisunos biyadecha. The blessings are put into your hand. Ad achshav hayu biyadi. Until now, they were in my hand, meaning Hashem's hand. Beirachti es Adam. I blessed Adam. Ve'es Noach, and Noach. Ve'oscha, and you. Umei achshav, but from now, es tivarech es asher.
Tivarech.
Pardon?
1 second. Atah tivarech.
Atah tivarech es asher tachpots. You will bless that which you want.
Right. Whoever you want.
Whoever you want. You will bless whoever you want. Dvar acher, alternatively, ve'escha l'goy gadol, and I will make you a great nation. Zeh she'omrim Elokai. Pardon?
Elokei Avraham.
Elokei Avraham. This is a reference to that which they say in the Shemona Esrei, God of Avraham. Va'avarechecha, and I will bless you. Zeh she'omrim Elokei Yitzchak. This is that which they say, God of Isaac, God of Yitzchak. Va'agadla shemecha, and I will make your name great. Zeh she'omrim Elokei Yaakov. This is what they say, God of Yaakov. Yachol hayu yiyu chos min b'chulan. One might be able.
Yeah, well, no, able. One might think.
One might think, or one might be able to think,
right,
that they conclude the blessing with all of them. Talmud Lomar, the Torah teaches us, v'yei bracha, and be a blessing. B'cha chos min. With you, they conclude, v'lo bahem, not with them.
Okay. Now this Rashi, besides being very unusual for Rashi to bring such an explanation, is very cryptic, because what does it mean? Right? I'll make you into a great nation. Yeah, that's what we refer to when you say a Kabra. And I will bless you, first to you, hey Yitzchak. Where's it's like esoteric.
Yes.
Doesn't do,
And this thing about conclude with all of them, I have no idea what that means.
meaning that I might think you say Mogen Avram Yitzchak Yaakov. Why do we say Baruch Atah Hashem Mogen Avram?
Oh,
That's what it means. But anyway, what's the connection with the first bracha in Shemona Esrei? It's like very they say very esoteric, this thing, and why does Rashi feel obliged to bring a second pshat, another pshat? What's wrong with Rashi's first pshat?
Right.
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, I'm going to venture to give maybe a little bit of clarity to what Rashi's saying. What does it mean when we say Elokei Avram, Elokei Yitzchak, and Elokei Yaakov? God of Abraham, God of Yitzchak, and God of Yaakov. He's not a God of you and me. And I'll tell you, I'll add to this a Chazal. I'm not sure if it's a Gemara or it's a Midrash. It says that David HaMelech asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu, why is it you say Elokei Avram, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov, but you don't say Elokei David? To which HaKadosh Baruch Hu responded, it says, they, Heim Amdu Ben Yisrael. Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov withstood tests. But you haven't withstood a test, you David. So therefore I can't express myself as Elokei David. To which David HaMelech responded, Ocheni Hashem v'naseini. Kosh Baruch Hu, test me, give me a test. And you'll see I passed the test. And what happened? Kosh Baruch Hu gave him a test, and he failed the test. What was that test? Test was this whole story with Bathsheba, who was the Maisa predestined to be David HaMelech's wife, but David HaMelech preempted the correct time to marry her. That was the whole Maisa. Betzim, she was married to Uriah Hittite, and David HaMelech saw her bathing. Right? It's the whole story why that came about. Anyway, and because he had a tremendous, obviously he saw in Ruach HaKodesh she was destined for him, but because he saw her, his taiva was also roused. Kitzer, so he took her and he married her. The whole Gemara goes into details. How could he marry her? She was somebody else's wife. It's a whole sugya. I'm not going into it now. But anyway, he did something he shouldn't have done. It wasn't technically an Aveira, Mamish. He did something which he shouldn't have done. Anyway, he failed the test, which HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him. And the Rav Dessler explains that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him a test that he would fail. Why was that? Because since David HaMelech had asked for the test, so just how shall I best explain it? If a teacher is giving a pupil, disciple a test, it's obviously coming at the initiative of the teacher. Because if it's coming at the initiative of the Talmud, of the disciple, then in a way the disciple is telling the teacher, you know, I can do better than you thought I could. So therefore a test has to come at the initiative of the teacher, because the teacher has to see really how the Talmud is, and not that the Talmud is trying to prove to the teacher or the master that he's on a higher level than the master thought he was. Anyway, I'm not going into that right now. Upon him, what do we see from this Gemara, this Chazal? That in order for a person, no, it's not really the person, in order for somebody to be, that Hashem should connect his name to him by calling himself Elokei so-and-so, Elokei Ploni, it means that Ploni was tested and he passed the test. Well, why is that so? What's the connection between the two things? So, I once had an explanation as follows. What does it mean, Kosh Baruch Hu is our God? Meaning, Kosh Baruch Hu is our ruler, our judge, the one in charge of us, and we must fulfill whatever he commands us. Well, not only that, we have to, the way we behave has to show and manifest that there is a God who's in charge of us, and we are serving him, we are fulfilling his every will. The whole way, the whole way we behave and the way we act shows that there is a God who's in charge of us. So, since HaKadosh Baruch Hu calls himself Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, and Elokei Yaakov, that means all three of them, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, reached that level that in their every single action, every movement, everything that they did, they showed that they are servants of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let me explain a little bit better. When you say somebody is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, calls himself the God of Avraham, what does that mean? Anybody who saw Avraham realized that he has a God. And that God, therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu can describe himself as being the God of Avraham. Because Avraham is a living example of somebody who has a God, who recognizes a God, who is in charge of him, he's controlling him. And you can see from every single action and movement of Avraham Avinu that he had a God. Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God, shall we say, can describe himself as, I am the God of Avraham. You want to know who I am? Well, look at Avraham Avinu. See the way he's behaving. See the way he acts. He's acting as his every action shows that there is somebody in charge of him. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, that's who I am. You want to know who I am? See the way Avraham Avinu behaves, and by seeing the way he behaves, you see he has a God on top of him. He has a God in control of him, a God whom he serves, and his every single action shows that there is a God who is in charge of him. That's, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, says, that's who I am. And that repeated itself as well with Yitzchak and with Yaakov. How and what was the test? So how was the proof that Avraham Avinu was like a totally loyal servant to God? Because Hashem tested him and he passed the test. And not only Avraham passed the tests that were given to him, Yitzchak passed the tests that were given to him, and Yaakov passed the tests that were given to him. So each one of them earned the title, should we say, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could call himself, I'm the God of Avraham, I'm the God of Yitzchak, I'm the God of Yaakov. Means when you want to know who I am, you just have to take a look at any one of them, Avraham or Yitzchak or Yaakov, and you will see that they have a God who's in control of them. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, that's who I am. Okay? Now, what Chazal are telling us over here is a pretty, sounds like a Hasidic Shavot, but it's really a very deep concept. Avraham Avinu was the one who discovered HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shall we say. He on his own, without any prior instruction, without any prior teachings, he discovered that there's one God who controls the world. I mean, Avraham Avinu must have been a brilliant person of brilliant mind. I mean, he says even when he was there were different levels, obviously, that Avraham Avinu recognized Hashem. But even at the age of 3, or some say at the age of 5, the Rambam says the age of 5, Avraham Avinu looked around him, contemplated what was going on, analyzed what was going on around him. He says, I've got to come to one conclusion, and one conclusion only. There is a supreme God who's controlling the whole world. Now, for a little 5-year-old to be able to do that, it's pretty something amazing. But not only did he do that, Avraham Avinu passed down this ability and this recognition of God, not only for himself, but he passed it down to Yitzchak and he passed it down to Yaakov. And not only that, both Yitzchak and Yaakov managed to build on what they'd been taught by Avram, and each one added his own new aspect, new facet of being loyal to Hashem in his own way. And that's why each time we say Lekei Avram and Kei Yitzchak and Kei Yaakov, we're expressing in a way a different facet of the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world. Because each one of them, Avraham Avinu emphasized chesed. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a kind God, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives to all his creatures, he gives it to all his beings, all his creations. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a giving God. Okay, Yitzchak built on that. He says has to add another facet, that we have to fear God as well. Whereas HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not just a kind man, a kind grandfather who's giving out presents to all his kids and grandchildren, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu limits. He has limits to what he does, to the kindness that he does, which is midas hagvura, midas hatzimtzum. It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't just give, indiscriminately. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there are rules to the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives. And we've got to realize, we've got to fear Hashem, that we can't go beyond the rules that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says. Not to say that Avraham Avinu didn't recognize that, but he didn't emphasize that in his way he served Hashem. Okay? And Yaakov Avinu was basically a combination of those two aspects, which basically manifested itself in his learning. Avraham Avinu learned Torah and Yitzchak learned Torah, both of them. But the first one to make the central theme and the central focus of his life as learning Torah was Yaakov Avinu. And that was a combination of the two midas, chesed and gvura, two opposites. Okay, I'm not going to think. Anyway, each of them, so when we say Lekei Avraham, Lekei Yitzchak, Lekei Yaakov, we are indicating that the way the forefathers, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, the way they acted, the way they behaved, every single action, every single aspect of their behavior showed that there was a God who was in control of them, who was in charge of them. So now, what do we say? So let's go back to what Chazal say over here. I will make you into a great nation. Means you, Avraham Avinu, you were the one who had this brainwave, you had this inspiration to recognize that I am God. Okay, you are the source of this whole, how should I say it, whole doctrine, this whole concept of a one God who's in charge of the entire world. Okay? So that's why we say that I will make you into a great nation, meaning that everybody will know from knowing you that you have a God. That's what it means. Means from the way you behave, Avraham Avinu, people will see that you have a God upon you, and therefore that's what it means when we say in Shemona Esrei, Kosh Baruch Hu Kaviyachol calls himself the God of Avraham. Va'avorechacha, right? I will bless you, meaning not only will you be zocha to this level of connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but your son as well be zocha to that. Each on his own, meaning in his own way, in his own form of service of Kadosh Baruch Hu, but he will also reach that level of closeness to Hashem that people will say about him, "Oh, Yitzchak, this is a godly man. He's a man. He has a God upon him. He has a God in charge of him." So therefore, Hashem says, "I can call myself God of Yitzchak." And then the third stage is V'agad lo shemecha. I will make your name great, meaning you Avraham will not only merit to have your son follow in such a way, but even your grandson, Yaakov, will also follow that way. So each of them following on from you, but also in his own right, will reach a level of closeness to Hashem, that Hashem will say he is the God of him. Okay? Now, what's the end mean? I might think choismin bekulam means you will sign off, which means each one of you, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, each one of you has their, shall we say, their own merit of reaching such a level of closeness to Hashem. So says Chazal, no, Talmud Lom ve'yebrach. I mean, even though each one of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov will reach such a closeness to Hashem to be called, that Hashem calls himself Lecha Avraham, Lecha Yitzchak, Lecha Yaakov, but everything in the end will be counted to you, Avraham, to your merit, because you were the one who started this whole movement, this whole process, this whole concept. So therefore, when we end the bracha, bracha to Hashem, you, Avraham, will be considered the main founder, shall we call it, of this movement, of this concept, to be of this level, to be of closeness to Hashem, that even Yitzchak's greatness and Yaakov's greatness will be accredited to you. Okay? It makes a little bit more than just a Hasidic Shabbat, anyway. It's okay.
You want me to continue?
Yeah, yes, that's still kidding.
The Artzecha from your land. V'halo kevar yatsa misham im aviv. But is it not that he already went out from there with his father? Uva ad Haran, and he came to Haran.
Right.
Ella kach amar lo.
Where Lamaisa, Avraham Avinu left, wasn't from Ur Kasdim, where he was born.
Right. He already left and went to Haran.
Right.
Rather, thus he said to him, His rachek od misham. Go yet further from there. Atzei mi beis avicha, and leave the house of your father. Asher ar echa, that I will show you. Lo gila lo es haaretz miyad.
Oh.
He did not reveal the land to him immediately. Kedei lechabva be'enav, in order to make it precious in his eyes.
Okay, we're running out of time. So I suggest we'll stop here and we'll pick up here again tomorrow. Yeah, I'll share our echo. Okay?